What happens if you pour 2 liters of rice water into your rose plant? It sounds like a simple kitchen hack, something your grandmother might have whispered about while washing the evening's dinner. But is it actually magic for your blooms, or is it a recipe for disaster? Most gardeners are terrified of rotting roots and fungal diseases, so they hesitate. Today, we're going to find out exactly what happens when this starchy, cloudy liquid hits the soil around your prized roses. The result might surprise you, but only if you get the details right. Stick with me, because getting this wrong can kill your plant, but getting it right can transform it. Before we dive into the science and the secrets, do me a quick favor. If you love practical, no-nonsense gardening advice that actually works, hit that subscribe button. We are building a community of growers who want healthy plants without the expensive chemical bills. By subscribing, you ensure you never miss a tip that could save your garden this season. Now, let's get into the truth about rice water. To understand why rice water affects your roses, we first need to look at what is actually inside that cloudy liquid. When you rinse or soak rice, you are not just washing away dirt, you are extracting a complex cocktail of nutrients and biological agents from the grain itself. Rice is a staple food for billions of people for a reason. It is packed with energy and essential compounds. When water comes into contact with raw or cooked rice, several key elements leach out into the solution. The most abundant component in rice water is starch. Starch is a carbohydrate, a long chain of sugar molecules. While plants do not eat starch directly in the way humans do, this organic matter plays a crucial role in the soil ecosystem. As the starch breaks down, it serves as a food source for beneficial microorganisms. These microbes are the unsung heroes of your garden. They live in the soil and help convert nutrients into forms that plant roots can actually absorb. So, the starch in rice water is essentially fuel for the soil life that supports your rose. Beyond starch, rice water contains significant amounts of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. These are the primary macronutrients every plant needs, often referred to as NPK. Nitrogen is present in smaller quantities compared to specialized fertilizers, but it is there. Nitrogen is vital for vegetative growth, helping the plant produce lush green foliage. Phosphorus is perhaps the most critical element for roses, as it drives root development and flower production. Potassium helps with overall plant health, disease resistance, and water regulation within the cells. But the mineral profile does not stop there. Rice water is rich in micronutrients like calcium, magnesium, and iron. Calcium is essential for cell wall structure, making stems stronger and less prone to breaking under the weight of heavy blooms. Magnesium is the central atom in chlorophyll, the pigment that allows plants to photosynthesize. Without enough magnesium, leaves turn yellow and energy production drops. Iron is crucial for enzyme function and also contributes to that deep green color we all want in our rose bushes. Another fascinating component found in rice water, particularly if you use fermented rice water, is lactic acid bacteria. If you let the rice water sit for a few days, natural fermentation occurs. This process produces beneficial bacteria similar to those found in yogurt or kimchi. These bacteria can help suppress harmful pathogens in the soil. They compete with bad fungi and bacteria for space and resources, acting as a natural biocontrol agent. This means rice water isn't just a fertilizer, it can also act as a mild probiotic for your soil. It is also worth noting that rice water has a slightly acidic to neutral pH, depending on how it is prepared. Roses generally prefer slightly acidic soil, typically between 6.0 and 6.5 pH. Using rice water can help maintain this ideal acidity, especially if your tap water is hard or alkaline. Hard water can lock up nutrients in the soil, making them unavailable to the plant. The mild acidity of rice water can help counteract this, keeping the nutrients soluble and accessible to the rose roots. However, we must be clear about what rice water is not. It is not a complete, balanced fertilizer. It lacks the high concentrations of specific nutrients that a commercial rose food provides. It is a supplement, a booster, and a soil conditioner. Think of it as a vitamin shake for your plant rather than its main meal. Understanding this composition is key because it tells us exactly how the plant will react. It is not a magic potion that replaces proper care, but it is a powerful tool when used correctly. The presence of starch, NPK, micronutrients, and beneficial bacteria creates a synergistic effect that supports the rose from the roots up. Now that we know what is in the liquid, let's look at what your rose plant is desperately trying to get from the soil. Roses are often called heavy feeders in the gardening world, and for good reason. They are vigorous growers that produce large, complex flowers and dense, thorny canes. To sustain this level of growth and beauty, they have very specific nutritional demands. If you do not meet these needs, the plant will struggle, become susceptible to disease, and produce fewer, smaller blooms. The number one nutrient a rose needs is phosphorus. While nitrogen makes leaves grow, phosphorus is the engine behind flower power. It is essential for energy transfer within the plant and is critical for root establishment. A rose with strong roots can access more water and nutrients, leading to a more resilient plant. Phosphorus also helps the plant withstand stress, such as heat waves or dry spells. When you see a rose bush covered in buds, it is using massive amounts of phosphorus to develop those flowers. Without it, you might get plenty of green leaves, but very few blooms, or the buds may drop before they open. Nitrogen is the second major player. Roses need nitrogen to build proteins and chlorophyll. This is what gives the leaves their deep, glossy green color. Healthy leaves are the solar panels of the plant. They capture sunlight and convert it into energy. If a rose is deficient in nitrogen, the older leaves will turn pale yellow, starting from the tips and moving inward. The plant will look tired and sluggish. However, too much nitrogen can be just as bad as too little. Excess nitrogen leads to soft, sappy growth that attracts aphids and other pests. It can also delay flowering because the plant is too busy growing leaves to focus on blooms. This is why balance is so important. Potassium is the third pillar of rose nutrition. It regulates the opening and closing of stomata, the tiny pores on leaves that control water loss and gas exchange. This makes potassium vital for drought tolerance and cold hardiness. It also strengthens the cell walls, making the canes thicker and more able to support heavy flowers. A potassium-deficient rose will have weak stems and leaves with brown, scorched edges. It will also be more prone to fungal diseases like black spot and powdery mildew because its natural defenses are compromised. Beyond the big three, roses have specific needs for calcium and magnesium. Calcium prevents disorders like blossom end rot in some plants, but in roses, it ensures structural integrity. It helps new growth emerge smoothly and prevents tip dieback. Magnesium, as mentioned earlier, is key for photosynthesis. A lack of magnesium results in interveinal chlorosis, where the leaf veins remain green, but the tissue between them turns yellow. This reduces the plant's ability to make food, slowing down overall growth. When we connect this back to the rice water, the synergy becomes clear. The phosphorus in the rice water directly supports the rose's demand for blooming power. The nitrogen provides the gentle push for leafy growth without the risk of burning the plant, which can happen with synthetic fertilizers if misapplied. The potassium aids in overall vigor and disease resistance. The calcium and magnesium fill in the gaps, ensuring the plant has the building blocks for strong stems and efficient energy production. Furthermore, the starch in the rice water feeds the soil microbes. These microbes, in turn, help break down organic matter in the soil, releasing more nutrients for the rose. They also improve soil structure, allowing better aeration and water retention. For a rose which hates having wet feet, but also dislikes drying out completely, this improved soil structure is invaluable. The beneficial bacteria from fermented rice water add another layer of protection, helping to keep the root zone healthy and free from harmful pathogens. This holistic approach addresses both the immediate nutritional needs and the long-term health of the soil ecosystem. So the benefits are clear: greener leaves, stronger stems, more blooms, and healthier soil. But here is the warning. Pouring 2 liters of undiluted fresh rice water directly onto your rose can be catastrophic. Why? Because of the starch. Fresh rice water is thick with starch. When this hits the soil, it creates a glue-like barrier. This barrier can seal the soil surface, preventing oxygen from reaching the roots. Roses need oxygen at their root zone just as much as they need water. If the soil becomes anaerobic, lacking oxygen, the roots begin to suffocate. Moreover, that excess starch is a feast for the wrong kind of bacteria. While we want beneficial microbes, fresh starch can encourage the rapid growth of harmful fungi and bacteria that cause root rot. Root rot is silent and deadly. By the time you see yellowing leaves or wilting stems, the damage is often irreversible. The plant dies from the bottom up. Additionally, if the rice water is left to sit in a warm environment without proper fermentation control, it can become sour and acidic to a degree that harms the plant. It can also attract pests, like fruit flies or gnats, which lay eggs in the moist, starchy soil. Another risk is salt buildup. If you salted the water when cooking the rice, pouring it on your plant is a death sentence. Roses are sensitive to salt. Salt draws water out of the plant cells through osmosis, effectively dehydrating the plant even if the soil is wet. This leads to burnt leaf edges and eventual plant death. Always ensure your rice water is unsalted. Even trace amounts of oil or butter from cooking can coat the soil and roots, blocking water absorption and causing rot. Therefore, the method of application is not just a suggestion, it is a safety requirement. You cannot simply dump a bucket of cloudy water at the base of the stem. You must prepare it correctly to harness the benefits while mitigating the risks. The goal is to provide nutrients and microbial support without smothering the roots or inviting disease. Here is the step-by-step method to safely apply rice water to your roses. First, you need to prepare the liquid. There are two ways to do this: the quick rinse method or the fermentation method. For the quick method, take half a cup of uncooked rice and place it in a bowl. Add 2 cups of water. Swirl the rice vigorously with your hand for about 30 seconds. The water will turn white and cloudy. Strain the rice out, keeping the water. This is your basic rice water. For a stronger, more beneficial version, use the fermentation method. Take the strained water from the rinse, put it in a jar, cover it loosely with a cloth or lid, not airtight, and let it sit at room temperature for 2 to 3 days. It will smell slightly sour, like yeast or vinegar. This indicates the beneficial bacteria have multiplied. Dilute this fermented water with fresh water at a ratio of 1 to 3 before use. If you are using fresh, non-fermented rice water, you must dilute it as well. Mix 1 part rice water with 2 parts fresh water. This reduces the starch concentration, preventing soil sealing and root suffocation. Never use hot water. Always ensure the liquid is at room temperature. Cold shock can damage rose roots. Next, prepare the plant area. Check the soil moisture. If the soil is bone dry, water the rose with plain water first. Applying rice water to parched soil can cause the salts and minerals to concentrate too quickly, potentially burning the roots. The soil should be moist but not soggy. Clear away any mulch or debris from the base of the plant to expose the soil surface. This allows the liquid to penetrate evenly. Now, apply the liquid. Do not pour it directly onto the stem or the leaves. Wet foliage encourages fungal diseases like black spot and powdery mildew, which roses are prone to. Instead, pour the diluted rice water slowly around the drip line of the plant. The drip line is the imaginary circle on the ground directly below the outermost branches. This is where the majority of the feeder roots are located. Pouring here ensures the nutrients reach the active root zone. Use a watering can with a rose attachment or a gentle stream to avoid splashing. For a standard bush rose, 2 liters of diluted mixture is sufficient. For larger climbing roses, you may need up to 4 liters, distributed evenly around the base. After pouring, wait a few minutes, then lightly rake the soil surface if it appears crusty. This helps break up any remaining starch film and allows air to reach the roots. Finally, replace any mulch you removed. Mulch helps retain moisture and keeps the soil temperature stable. Clean your tools and container immediately to prevent bacterial buildup for next time. Timing is everything in gardening, and this is especially true for organic supplements like rice water. There are specific times when you should absolutely avoid using it. First, do not use rice water during the peak of summer heat if temperatures exceed 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 degrees Celsius. High heat accelerates the decomposition of starch in the soil, which can generate heat and create anaerobic conditions rapidly. It also increases the risk of fungal growth. Second, avoid using it during heavy rain seasons. If the ground is already saturated, adding more liquid, especially one with organic matter, can lead to waterlogging and root rot. The soil needs to breathe, and saturated soil cannot. Third, do not apply rice water to newly planted roses that are less than 4 weeks old. Young plants have delicate root systems that are still establishing. The microbial activity triggered by the rice water can be too intense for them, and the slight acidity might shock them. Wait until the plant is established and showing signs of vigorous growth. Also, avoid using it in winter when the rose is dormant. Dormant plants do not actively take up nutrients, and the cold, wet conditions favor rot over benefit. The ideal time to use rice water is during the active growing season, specifically in spring and early summer. This is when the rose is pushing out new canes and forming buds. The extra phosphorus and nitrogen support this burst of growth. Apply it in the early morning or late afternoon. Avoid midday application when the sun is strongest, as evaporation can leave residue on the soil surface. The best weather condition is a calm, overcast day, or a day where rain is not expected for at least 24 hours. This gives the soil time to absorb the liquid without it being washed away or evaporating too quickly. As for frequency, less is more. Do not use rice water every time you water. Overuse leads to nutrient imbalance and soil compaction. Apply it once every 2 to 3 weeks during the growing season. This provides a consistent boost without overwhelming the plant. If you notice the leaves becoming overly dark green and soft, reduce the frequency, as this may indicate excess nitrogen. Monitor the plant's response and adjust accordingly. In autumn, taper off usage as the plant prepares for dormancy. Stop completely by late autumn. So, you have applied the rice water correctly. What happens next? Patience is key. You will not see overnight miracles, but the changes are steady and visible. Within the first week, you likely won't see dramatic visual changes above the soil. The action is happening underground. The beneficial microbes are multiplying, and the roots are beginning to absorb the available nutrients. The soil structure may start to feel looser and more crumbly if you check it gently. By the second week, you may notice a subtle change in the foliage. The leaves often appear glossier and a deeper shade of green. This is the magnesium and nitrogen at work, boosting chlorophyll production. The plant looks more vibrant and alert. If the rose was previously looking dull or slightly yellowed, this is the first sign of recovery. The stems may also feel firmer to the touch as calcium strengthens the cell walls. Between 3 and 4 weeks, the most exciting changes occur. If your rose was in the budding stage, you will notice that the buds are larger and more numerous. The stems holding the flowers appear thicker and more robust, capable of supporting the weight of the blooms. The overall vigor of the plant increases. You might see new shoots emerging from the base of the plant, indicating strong root health. The flowers themselves, when they open, may have richer colors and last slightly longer on the bush due to improved potassium levels. Over the course of a full season, the cumulative effect is significant. A rose treated with rice water every few weeks will typically have a denser canopy, more abundant blooms, and greater resistance to minor stressors like brief dry spells. The soil around the plant will be richer in organic matter and teeming with life. However, remember that rice water is a supplement. It works best when combined with good pruning practices, adequate sunlight, and regular deep watering. It is not a substitute for addressing severe nutrient deficiencies or pest infestations, but it is a powerful ally in maintaining overall plant health. Gardening is a journey of observation and care. Using rice water connects you to a traditional, sustainable practice that respects the biology of your plants. It turns kitchen waste into garden gold, but it requires respect for the process. Dilute it, time it right, and apply it with care. Your roses will thank you with bursts of color and fragrance that light up your garden. If you found this guide helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps other gardeners find this information. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We have many more practical tips coming your way, from composting secrets to pest control hacks that actually work. Join our community of growers, share your own rice water experiences in the comments below, and let's grow something beautiful together. Happy gardening!